All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about transitions. So, previously, I showed you how to fade out and fade in a clip using these little things here. I'm not sure why it's not showing up on the side. To kind of fade to black or fade to transparent, as the case may be. Fading to black is not often the best transition. It's often better than just a straight cut, but it's not the best. So, we're going to use some of DaVinci's built-in transitions. And up here in the left, you can click on Effects Library, Toolbox, Videos, well, Video Transitions. This is going to give you a big list of them to choose from. So the easiest, kind of simple, is either Smooth Cut or Cross Dissolve. So right now in this clip, we see it goes from here, fades in. If I get rid of these fade outs, and then instead stack one on top of the other and pull my smooth cut. I'm just clicking and dragging, and I'm going to put it onto this here. And you see it's now giving me this thing here. I'm going to slide that so it overlaps the two. And now, as I move through, you get this, well, smooth transition from one to the other.
No lives left for your enemy.
It's not perfect, but it's an option. Now, see this straight line here? That shows the level of how much of the top versus the bottom you're seeing. Over on my right hand tab here, I can actually change that to ease it in or out. And if you see that, we then get this curve. So now it's going to be a more organic, more natural transition. On a really short transition, you're not going to notice it much, but if we had a really long transition, you would notice it more. So,
Left for your enemy.
okay. With the smooth cut, and the cross dissolve has a similar look to it, you can actually do some really kind of slick things. So in this case, I've got one clip that ends with a weapon reload, and my next clip starts with a weapon reload. So what I can do is actually line those up and time them. So what I've done is I've set a marker for right when the magazine is being punched into the bottom, and then a marker on the other clip for the same spot. Drag my playhead there. I'm going to drag one clip up, bring it over, and make those two markers overlap. Now, if I just play it as is, it just hard cuts from one to the other. But what I can do is do a cross dissolve and line it up. And now we get this much
Again.
smoother
Hit them again. Hit them again.
transition. And again, I can go over and go and ease in and out. Gets just a little more natural. Works pretty well. There are a lot of different transition types available to us. I want to talk about the slide swipe here. And this literally just slides it across from one to the other. So again, I've got my two clips. I've got a marker for where I want my transition to start. I'm just going to drag my slide in and then size it correctly. And now you can see we get this line here as it just gets pushed over from one to the other. And this kind of works if you've got a sideways motion. What I don't like about this is look at how solid that line is. But if we go over to the slide, we can click feather and then increase the border size. And now it's going to just kind of smooth out a little bit. So now, as I go through, it just becomes a little bit more natural. There we go. Another option, instead of sliding it sideways, is to use an iris. So This works really well if you have kind of something in the center of the screen you want to focus on. So in this case, I'm going to transition into something with a circular scope. So I'm just going to slide this up. I'm going to line these up. I've already kind of figured out where I want these to overlap. And that looks terrible just doing that hard transition. But now if I go an oval iris, put it in here, size it for that, now you get this circle coming out. And again, we've got this really hard border. It looks just a little strange. If I go feather and then increase my border size, so it becomes just a little bit smoother and a little bit more natural. I can also ease in and out just to make it, again, that little bit smoother. And there we go. We get a kind of natural transition from one to the other. So far, this is all just transition. So this is just making one video clip smoothly transition into another video clip. If we want to get better, we need to start looking at cutting and how different film editors and video editors cut. And it's usually not just one hard transition to another. One of the things they do a lot of is called a J cut or an L cut. And that's where you transition the sound at a different time from the video. So in this case here, I'm just going to play this through and then explain.
Hunters like you blaze a path for the rest of us.
Okay. So we had this bit here where the narrator is saying, hunters like you, whatever, whatever. But nothing interesting is happening on the screen during that time. So I want to keep that dialogue, but I don't want the video to go with it, especially since I can layer it on top of a different piece of video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two clips. I've already marked down here where I want to transition. So I'm just going to move my other clip up there. And now I can put my smooth cut over here. We'll even, yeah, no, I want to be able to see the shooting. So I'm going to put it there and I'm going to fade in this sound, but I'm going to leave this sound intact. And now what we're going to get is we're going to get the video transition here, but the audio continue all the way through.
Hunters like you blaze a path for the rest of us.
So you can hear, like, we're already shooting, this is already going on, but the narrator still keeps going, lets him finish what he was saying. So this is really useful when you're doing cuts from scene to scene if you have some other noise, like a narrator, whatever, calling out. And you just don't want the boring visuals. You don't want to extend the length of your edit. So it's just a way to kind of condense everything and make it more concise. So as you can see, there's lots of video transitions to play with. So, go out, play with them, have fun, and post whatever you do up in the comments section. I'd love to see what you guys are doing. Cheers and have a great day.